I'm posting this a couple days late. I saw Star Wars The Force Awakens on Thursday evening, one of the earliest showings I could see here in town, and so I'm a few days getting this up. This is my review and my reaction to The Force Awakens. I want to really talk about the pieces and all the things that I enjoyed. So, spoilers. This is the spoiler warning. It will also say spoiler warning everywhere I post this. So there's that warning. Turn this off if you haven't seen it, but go see it. So the first criteria for this movie was it going to be fun? Is it fun? And it absolutely was. It was exciting the entire time. I was big into spoilers going into it, and there were still a lot of surprises. So not everything about this movie leaked out, which was great. It was great to have it go in some places I didn't expect. It felt like Star Wars, and it also felt like a really good transition or bridge between old Star Wars, and by that I mean George Lucas era Star Wars, to new Star Wars, Disney era Star Wars. So a transition, and it feels a little new, but it still had that kind of authentic Star Wars feel. Like the driving motivation of the story felt authentic to Star Wars. You know, the galaxy's greatest hero, Luke Skywalker, has disappeared and needs to be found. That's what drove everything forward. You know, why we were following Rey and Finn from the beginning, and that felt like a Star Wars adventure. There's been pieces of that in other Star Wars movies. The primary antagonist, Kylo Ren, I really liked. There's definitely some Anakin in him, and I imagine that was intentional. But he's powerful, he's angry, he's barely in control, and sometimes that control actually slips away. And that made for some kind of cringy moments, just because, yeah, when he loses his temper. But I'm excited to find out more about Kylo Ren's backstory and find out more about the mysterious Knights of Ren. You know, who they are, what's going on there. But yeah, it felt like Star Wars. Star Wars itself, you know, original trilogy era, prequel trilogy era, has never been extremely socially progressive. It hasn't been regressive at all. But The Force Awakens is at least keeping up with the times. The main protagonist going forward is going to be female, so that's a first for Star Wars. The co-lead is a black man, and that's really great, and in fact that's who we're following for most of the early parts of the movie. And that's really great to see. It did meet the Bechdel test, though just barely, but at least it was Leia telling Rey, "May the Force be with you." So, you know, they had one line that made it fit, or made it past the Bechdel test, and at least it was a good classic Star Wars line. This isn't really socially progressive stuff, but I really liked, but it's kind of related, I really liked that Chewbacca was treated much more like a character than a prop. In the original trilogy, he does a little bit of stuff, and the characters interact with him, but I think this is mostly due to technological limitations. They probably couldn't get Chewbacca to do a whole lot. And in this movie, he's deep in the action. The way he and Han interact, I thought was even hinted at an even deeper relationship. I don't know. I thought it did really well. I thought Chewbacca seemed like a really important character in this movie, rather than just kind of a background character that was there for most of it, as he was in the original trilogy. I think the biggest success of The Force Awakens, though, comes in, and it's what I noticed one of the main differences between the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy. So leading up to The Force Awakens, I watched the entire saga in episode order, 1 through 6. Just to lead up to it, and to really get into Star Wars. And one of the things I noticed upon that watch through is this really clear difference between the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy is how the background universe where all of this story takes place interacts with the main storyline. And in the original trilogy, the background universe in which the story takes place keeps intersecting the story. Other things are going on. You know, Han's issues with Jabba and the what's going on in Cloud City with Lando and things like that. Like those, they don't necessarily always push forward the immediate conflicts of the movies, which is the war, right? A lot of times, the universe has small little bits of conflict for the characters themselves, the individual characters, that don't have much to do with the larger conflict. Whereas, you know, when you look at the prequel trilogy, that's not true at all. The entire trilogy is about Anakin and about the Galactic Clone War, and there's nothing else that really happens. That whole conflict just sits on top of the Star Wars universe, and the characters don't seem affected by the universe doesn't seem affected by the conflict, and I feel like that's mirrored too in like the way it was shot with green screen and CGI. Like you have the main characters up close to the camera, and then and with time this has become really obvious, these really fake CGI backgrounds that they just sit on top of and never really interact with. So The Force Awakens, then, the universe intersected with the story. There were small pieces that didn't necessarily have much to do with the larger conflict, and were just pieces that basically built the characters, right? This is, I mean, it's character building and letting and really seeing how the characters fit in with the universe and how they're affected by it. So that was amazing to see. And seeing this movie really made that contrast between the two trilogies clear to me. So I hope that it seems like that's going to be something that remains going forward, and I'm really excited about that. And this movie did it really well. That said, I said the universe intersects and the characters seem affected by the universe. No one seemed to. There was still something that seemed weird, that no one at all seemed upset that an entire star system was destroyed. Like, the Starkiller weapon fired once, right? And destroyed an entire star system. But nobody really seemed to care. It seemed incidental, and it seemed kind of inconsequential. And my understanding was that was the heart of the Republic that the Rebellion had become, and its fleet that was providing support for the Resistance, I thought. So, is the Republic set back significantly by this? I don't know. I was kind of confused by that whole set of events. I'm going to see it again, so hopefully I'll get a better. Maybe there's something going on there. Maybe people do react. But sitting here now thinking about it, that seemed inconsequential and almost didn't even need to be included. They already wanted to destroy the weapon, so I don't know why that had to happen if it wasn't going to affect anything. And yet, other than that kind of thing, the whole movie, the whole set of events still felt weighty and real. The characters, like I mentioned earlier, the characters seemed affected by each other and the journey that they're on. They seemed like there was deep impact to them. I think that's mostly a credit to the new cast and the directing, of course. I really dig the new characters. I thought they were developed, created really well. I think they fill these interesting roles within the new trilogy. I'm excited to find out more about them, follow their adventures, that sort of thing. The Force Awakens also, and so this is where kind of that weighty and real piece comes in, is that they also made it clear that there's real dangers to the individual characters. That's communicated with, Chewbacca's getting shot and really feeling it, like he's hurt, he's down. Finn getting beat down, like, kind of savagely by Kylo Ren. Like, he took a lightsaber swipe to the back. Like, yeah, that's gonna hurt for a while. And then pretty early on, the movie made a threat and a promise to kill Han Solo. And we've heard threats and promises like that to main characters before, but this time it carried it out. And I think that's important. I think it, when the movie presents a danger to a character, it's going to follow through on it. So as of right now, I still feel a little too close to have any real criticisms. I'm looking forward to seeing it again with kind of the wonder and giddiness a little tempered. But that said, there were some criticisms from people I've seen it with and people I know. Some people said it was too predictable. I heard a criticism that the pacing was uneven. There was a fair bit of exposition dialogue, which I felt like I needed because this is 30 years later. I need to know what's going on. But some people pointed out that there was too much and it was sometimes kind of awkward. And then others pointed out that it borrowed too much and too obviously from the original trilogy. As of right now, I don't know that I agree with these criticisms, but I want to see it again before I actually disagree with them. And I'm excited to see it again, which I think is telling. I posted a few days ago fan reactions to The Phantom Menace about people just loving it when they came out of the theater, so I'm not. I want to sit with this. I'll watch it a couple more times, wait till it comes out on DVD, that sort of thing, and just see if it really sits with the original trilogy as kind of an equal movie. But yeah, I will likely comment more on this. I have my Star Wars excitement back, and that's a big deal to me.